What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Winston P. Strategist, man, and thank you for joining How the Trucking Industry Has Changed My Life series. Guys, listen, if you've ever thought about starting a trucking business, a box truck business, becoming a dispatcher, becoming a broker, this is the videos that you do not want to miss. I know you're probably, trying to figure it all out, or maybe, you're in a position where you're just getting started and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a truck and I'm gonna make all these decisions, and you're just trying to figure it all out. Well, guess what? I'm going to go through that with you, and I'm gonna help you guys make those decisions. Just in case you have not seen me before and you're wondering, like, who am I? Why am I even talking to you about trucking or anything like that? Well, guys, I started my trucking business in 2017. I've been running it for all those years. I filed my own authority. I run a dispatching business currently. I just got accepted to Amazon AFP. What that means is a program to where they help you to start a trucking business. They supply all the trucks, and pretty much all I have to do is to build the business. I've successfully sold my trucking business. Currently, I don't drive right now, but I do have my foot in trucking. If you go check out all of my content, I've been posting content for like the last 3-4 years. This was all on trucking. My content is a little bit different now because I've expanded, but nevertheless, I pretty much touched it all. A lot of the people that I know have been in trucking twice as long as me, and they take advice from me, make decisions based off of the things that I put out there. Not to say I'm anything special, but I really take what I do very, very seriously and passionate, and I make sure that if I don't know a specific thing about something, that I go get it from somebody who's actually doing it. So this is not, just secondhand information I'm putting together. This is from my personal experience. This is from my personal story. This is from my personal brand that I've been building for a very, very long time. So, you guys are getting it, directly from the source, directly from what they say, the horse's mouth himself. I don't even know if that's how they say it, but I'm about to switch my screen right here. We're about to get right into it. So let's go.
Now, this is going to be the only business class on trucking that you will actually need. Trust me, okay? And my motto is take action, not just information. So if we're talking about something, guys, taking action, examples of that is going to be you taking notes, you implementing in a practical scenario of this information that you're getting. Don't just listen to me talk. Actually take this information and make it work for you. If you're just going to be here, listen to me talk, then you're not going to be able to get the transformation out of this class. Okay. So that is what I need for you to do. I don't care if you are just thinking about getting a CDL. This is for you. I don't care if you've been in trucking for 20 years. This is for you. A lot of people believe that they've been in this business so long, there's nothing new they can learn. But I was always taught the moment you start thinking like that, you need to hang up your CDLs. There's always something for you to learn. There's always something for me to learn. So just look at me as somebody who's, a vessel of information, and it goes both ways. Okay. So any of this stuff I'm putting out, if you guys want to talk about it, you want to critique, whatever the case may be, feel free to do so in the comment section. I've never blocked anybody. I've never told anybody they can't speak on my platform. So feel free to say whatever it is that you need to say. All right, so boom, we're going to go right into module 1. And this is actually a live course, guys, that has audio behind it and everything like that. So I'm just giving you the slide. So again, please check out the automated course because it's really, really cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start. Okay, now what are some common reasons why you haven't started or you might be stuck? Let me define on who I'm talking to. Okay, a lot of you want to get to another level. Okay, some of you may be thinking about getting a CDL, or you may have been in trucking for a very, very, very long time and you want to get started on your own authority. So this is for a transition. I'm talking to a person who wants to move from a specific position that they're in trucking to another position, and they're stuck. Okay, so these are some of the common reasons why you're in that situation. Okay, limited knowledge on the trucking industry. That's it. A lot of you guys just simply don't know what to do. That's as simple as it gets. Knowing when to start, okay? That's a big thing right there. If you don't know when to start, guys, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. You have to know when to strike, okay? Dealing with a bad market. A lot of you guys are simply stuck because guess what? You're in a bad position, so you really can't afford to do anything, or you can't go anywhere, okay? And that goes all throughout trucking. Make sure I turn these phones off. Startup costs. That's the biggest thing. You want to get your own truck, but you don't have that $10,000 down payment, or you simply want to get your own authority, but you may be feeling like you can't afford to do so, or you may want to get your CDL, and you may be feeling like, man, this is a lot. I don't want I don't have $3, $4, $5,000 to go pay for my CDL. So startup cost is keeping a lot of you guys stuck, or you may simply be in the wrong market. Now that is a key point that I saw over the years of being in trucking, and I never really heard anybody talk about this. And sorry for I see right now I need to kind of capitalize that. So let me actually do that right now. So yeah, bear with me with the grammar and all that. I kind of put this together. Bear with me. I did this years ago. Okay, so I haven't really went back through and properly checked everything, but nevertheless, guys, we're gonna get it together. This is real, as you can see. So now, guys, if you are dealing with the wrong market, believe it or not, that is going to be a reason why you're stuck, simply because you could be doing a whole lot better in a different division, but you might just not know.
I just launched my brand new app called Easy Go Manager. Let me show you exactly how it works.
Now, once you get inside the app as a truck driver, you're going to be equipped with every single tool that you would ever need. Inside the academy, you're going to be able to watch a ton of different video modules that's going to teach you everything you need to know about trucking. Under the Trucker Fund, you can join the waiting list. This is going to act as a support system for truckers out there who just need fuel or any random expenses. You know how rough it can be for a truck driver, so I want to be the first to build and design a platform where I can give back. These trucking calculators are going to help you to stay in business. Click on cost per mile. This is where you can actually break down how much it costs to run your trucking business. Let's say you're deadheading about 30 miles to pick up a load. Your loaded miles is 800 and a broker decides they want to pay you $1,000 for that load. That is absolutely too low. You're only making $1.20 per mile. Click on the reminder tab. I can't count how many times I forgot to update simple things like my DOT physical. We're going to be able to set reminders so we can stay compliant. Be sure to check out the community. Right now it's growing. We have 295 members. You're also going to be able to search for trucking jobs and access to EasyGo Academy. If you're one of the first to download EasyGo Manager, make sure you register for the Trucker Fund, because those of you who are supporting this channel, I'm going to be supporting you. This app is built not just for me, but for you to have another way to make some type of passive income. Sign up to become an affiliate, where every sign up that comes in, you get a portion of that. Don't wait, guys. Head over to the App Store and download EasyGo Manager now.
Okay, you might just not be aware that there's greater opportunities out there. So being in the wrong market is something that I've seen, and it's just as simple as looking around and just talking to people and identifying like, hey, do I need to transition? A lot of guys, believe that they don't need to move around. That's just simply not true. If you've been in flatbed for a long time and you need to go into heavy hauling, you may need to start looking into heavy hauling, because you need to be able to, transition and make the best out of what you need to be doing. Okay. So, that's it, right? So that's what the wrong market is. And I'm kind of stumbling because I'm thinking about so much things as I go on, but I'm not going to start this video over. So another thing, guys, is the mindset. Okay. Let's talk about what trucking is and what trucking is not. These are very important things that I really need to deal with before we even get into any type of information. Your mindset is always going to be the main thing that slows you down or gets you going really fast. And if you have the wrong mindset about anything that you're doing, you're just not going to be able to gain those results or gain the transformation that you're looking for, or experience, that experience properly. Okay. So trucking is a profitable business. Let's deal with that. I don't care what nobody says. Okay. Trucking got me started. I went from working 9 to 5s, man, to working a trucking job and making money that I've never seen anything else. Okay. I've had days where I made $5,000 in a day. I used to run loads, man, where I would be making $2,000 going home. I've never seen anything like that before. So don't let anybody trick you. Trucking is a profitable industry. Number one, that's why it's so many people that's doing it. Okay. You can make hundreds, if not millions of dollars in a short period of time. Yes, trucking can be fast money, and it is fast money. As soon as I was able to get my own authority and go out there, I was making what I wanted to. I was calling the shots. Everybody can give you a basic understanding that you can go from having a CDL to making money that you've never made before. You know what I mean? It can happen fast, and that is an issue. So we're going to talk about that too. Trucking is a great business to get into. Yes, it is a very good business to get into, guys. Trust me. Compared to a lot of things that I've done over time, trucking is one of those things that I see like, okay, this is a like an untapped industry, so to speak, where a lot of people really don't know the potential of trucking. Even when they're in it, they truly haven't really unlocked what trucking is, right? So trucking really, really is a great business model, and you have to position yourself. So we're gonna expound more on that later. Now, let's deal with what it is not, okay? It is not a profitable business for everyone, okay? But you can make a living applying the correct business habits, okay? What are business habits? It's just what you do in your business. It's these habits that you need to have. Like, you need to pay yourself first. You need to put something away for your maintenance accounts, and you need to put something away for your fuel accounts. You need to structure your business properly. Okay, it's just simple as that. You have to have business ethics, and you have to have business habits. If you're just out here just willy-nilly doing whatever, and you're not really having a structure to what you do, you're going to experience this business in a bad way. And I've met so many guys that don't even have, a way to keep up and a way to track what they're making, like QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks. I'm going to tag it down in the link below. I use QuickBooks Self-Employed because QuickBooks Self-Employed helps me to see all of my income coming in and all of my income going out, and I use it to file my taxes every year. I mean, you just can't really beat that, all right? It is not going to make everyone hundreds or millions of millions quickly. Simple as that. It's not going to do it for everybody. I have to pay my respects to those guys who've been here, 30 years before me, 40 years before me, and they're still working on their first M. I haven't hit my first million, but I'm just saying, everybody's not going to get there quick. That's just the reality of it. You'll hear stories from guys who say, man, it takes 10 years just to get started. You'll hear stories from guys who say it took them 5 years. I know people that did it in 2 years where they're touching $700,000 within, their first 2 to 3 years because they were going so hard, right? So that goes right into my next bullet point. Growing too fast can cause you to go out of business. That is a fact, okay? That is a fact. If you're growing really, really fast, guys, that can put you out of business. And it's done it to so many people. And it's just crazy because it continues to happen because we come in, we get inside the trucking business, and then we see that it's a gold rush. And then we see that, man, all I got to do is just get another truck and I can make this much. Then you get into that roller coaster mindset where you just, you just adding, but you're really not building a foundation. You're really not building a solid team. You're really not building, a solid just structure. You're just looking at the dollars. You're really not investing into your business or investing into others. In order to have a great company, you have to be willing to invest into people. So I look at trucking as a people business. If I can duplicate what I've done and my success in someone else, and they're working with me, they're my business partner, my team member, my employee, then my business is going to grow. And my motto was always to look at everybody as a team member and not just an employee. So I educated the guys that were working for me, and guess what? They went on to building great businesses. But while they were working with me, they were able to understand, why I'm doing things a certain way. And I didn't just shut guys out of understanding the business or how to get their own authority. I was very adamant about teaching. That way, guys will be able to go on to doing great things and then not just feel like, they're stuck or whatever the case may be. So hopefully you can still see my screen. If you can't see my screen, I'm actually going to fix this after. I just had to, make it a lot larger. Okay, so basics of trucking. Let's talk about just a simple basics. I mean, this is a really complex industry, I'll be honest with you, because it's not just one definition of what trucking is, but I'm just going to give you my definition. This is something I just kind of put together, so hopefully it makes sense to you. But it's a heavily regulated industry. Compliance is vital for longevity. That means that the safer you are, the more money you make. That's what that means. Okay. It's a heavily regulated industry, and a lot of guys don't understand that. So they feel like, I'm just going to get a CDL, I'm gonna make a lot of money. And then you run into an issue where you have like some type of accident or something like that, and now you can't drive for anybody. Boom. You're not able to grow, you're not able to do anything. And now you're sitting on a bench looking like, man, I didn't know that it was that serious. So it is a very, very heavy regulated industry. Okay. Mega carriers versus small carriers. That's a very common thing that you're going to run into out here. If you're thinking about becoming a trucking business, you're going to have to worry about, mega carriers. You're going to be a small carrier, and your competition is going to be mega carriers. That's it. When you get out here on the road and you're driving down that highway, it's going to be a small carrier or a mega carrier beside you. That's all who's out here. Simple as that. Box trucks, dualies, car haulers, flatbed dry vans, reefers, cattle hauling, grain trailers, dump trucks, dump trailers, oil field, intermodal are all considered types of trucking. Amazon LTL, FedEx is LTL. So these are all considered types of trucking. And if I'm going too fast, please pause this video, screenshot whatever you need to do, or you can follow my self-paced course by downloading my app. Now, that's basically what the trucking industries consist of, guys. The box trucks, the dualies, the car hauling. And again, I want to give you a comprehensive overview so you know you got more options. You know you're really not just boxed in, because it's not really being shown to us like this, okay? Brokers, shippers, carriers, dispatchers, third-party service providers is basically it. That's basically all who are in this industry. You know what I'm saying? The brokers, the shippers, the dispatchers, third party providers. That's basically it in your compliance. I probably need to add that in. So that's basically all it is in this industry. You know what I'm saying? So that's all you really need to understand about what the structure really is. You got your shipper, you got your broker that works with the shipper, you got your dispatcher that's dispatching, between the broker and the carrier. You got your third-party service providers, your drug testing, and then you got your compliance. So basically that's really all trucking truly is. Leasing versus carrier authority. When you get started, guys, and you want to get your own truck, you're going to have to lease, or you're going to have to get your own authority. That's simply how this business works. When you decide, hey, I want to get a truck and I want to run, well, you're going to be leased on to someone else, or you're going to have your own authority, and that's pretty much it. Or you're going to be driving for somebody. But, this is more so for a business, not just for, somebody who's just getting their CDL. This is more so for someone who wants to start a business, okay? The money is in the trailer and not in the truck. Now, right there is the most important thing that I can possibly share with you on this video is the money is truly in the trailer and not in the truck. And I didn't know that at first when I first got started. It didn't hit me till later on in my career when I realized that the money is actually in the trailer and not in the truck. Okay, so we are trailer drivers. Depending on what type of trailer you're hauling, that's going to determine how much you make. Simple as that. As much as these guys love their trucks, and look, I appreciate everybody being enthusiastic about trucking, but as much as we love our trucks, as much as we like those big pipes, 10-speed, DD15s and Cummins ISX and, Caterpillar, Detroit 60, whatever motor you got that you're in love with, as much as you care about that, it doesn't matter what you're doing unless you're hauling a certain trailer. And that trailer is going to determine what you're making, okay? So a lot of these guys know that, who got the heavy haul trailers. Trailers could be costing them, for a Landau or, just a gooseneck trailer or something like that. Not a gooseneck trailer, but any oversized trailer that you're using to haul. Any of those trailers, man, can cost you upwards of $80,000. Any of those type of trailers that haul really expensive things, you know what I mean? So that's what you really need to know in as far as the basics of the trucking industry. So let's go right back to the overview of what you just learned. Common reasons why you haven't started or you may be stuck. Okay, that goes for CDL and business owners also. Your mindset, okay, what trucking is and what trucking is not. And you also learn the basics of trucking. It's a heavily regulated industry. Mega carriers versus small carriers, your box trucks, your dualies, and what trucking consists of, who you're working with. You're working with brokers, shippers, carriers, third-party service providers, and your compliance industries, which is the federal government or the FMCSA or whatever, in, leasing versus your carrier authority. That's what you're going to have to deal with when you want to get started. And also the money is in the the money is in the trailer and not in the truck. That is what you learned in module 1, guys. And I hopefully that information was very impactful to you. And hopefully, you see why this course is very important. Hopefully it's helping you. If you got any questions, comment down below. This is not the end of the video. I'm going to actually check. Hopefully my camera does not cut off. But I'm actually going to stop this here, and I'm going to start module 2 right now. All right, guys, let's go right into module 2. Now, this won't be a long module here, guys, but I'm going to cover as much as I can before my camera actually goes dead. Unfortunately, technology is definitely failing me right now, guys. So module 2, let's get into it. Defining each role. This is very important to understand. I briefly broke that down in module 1. But we're going to define each role here, okay? Let me go back. So the trucking industry is a combination of business to business professionals, okay? So we all need to understand how this works. This is a group of businesses coming together to form what we know as the trucking industry, okay? So your shippers, brokers, dispatchers, and carriers, okay? So I want to show you exactly how that flow of business works. In case you don't understand, like I said, this matters because the more you understand the trucking industry, the more you know where you can position yourself and how you can be more effective, eventually making you more money, okay? So let's just say you have a $1,400 load of chickens at your warehouse. This is your warehouse right here, okay? It's going to go to a broker. That broker is going to, give that load out for about $1,200. He's going to keep his cut or whatever the case may be. That may be a lot of money for a broker to keep, but you get what I'm saying, right? And now that broker is going to get you a rate con from his brokerage to your business as the trucking company. That's exactly how that works. You know what I mean? Now, there's different business models that are happening that we may not be fully aware of. Like, for example, a warehouse doing business with itself where it has a trucking company and it's, internally, brokering loads out, but it's using, like Pepsi or something like that. They have their own factory, and then they have their own trucking business. So it can work like that as well. I'll explain a little bit more on that later. But this is the basic that you need to know. You got a load of chickens, man, going to a broker, and then, that goes directly to the carrier. Also, between that carrier and the broker, you have a dispatcher that may be collecting something like 10%. That is typically how a trucking business works, okay? Now, let's just say flow of business scenario 2, which is what we all desire as trucking business owners. We want that load to come directly from the factory to us as the carrier so we can get basically most of the money, or whatever the rate is that we agreed upon for that specific load. So that is the flow of business number 2. And that is the basics that you need to know. So you can actually be going through a broker, or you can be going direct. That's as simple as it gets, okay? So the pay structure, how does this all work? Okay, let's get into that right now. So basically, when a shipper pays the broker, that broker is going to, in return, pay the trucking company. Now, that trucking company, as you can see from this diagram here, is going to be dealing with a factoring company and a dispatcher. So it's always going to be your job to be working with a dispatcher after you get paid from that broker. So as you can see here, my diagram is showing that all this right here is its own system, and the broker and the shipper kind of have their own system going on. So I'm going to replace the word system with relationship. So the shipper is going to have the relationship with the broker, and then that broker is going to send the currency directly to the trucking business, and then that trucking business is going to have the relationship with the, itself and the factoring company and the dispatching. And that is how that works. Now, there is another way that I could have did this diagram to show that the factoring company is in the center of all of this, because that factoring company will be collecting from that broker. But you get the point. The point is very simple. I don't want you to lose sight or to be overwhelmed with information, but just understand that that broker is going to be sending the money to the trucking business, and then that trucking business is, if a trucking business doesn't have a factoring company, then you have to have another way to get your money. So this is why the factoring companies are in relation with the carriers and the dispatchers, okay? And I'm going to be breaking all this down in further detail, so don't be overwhelmed by this information. The second pay structure is when the money is going from the shipper directly to the carrier. And as you can see, simple diagram. But please understand, that's what you're simply learning here. It's just the pay structure and also the flow of business. Okay, so I'm going to sum this up. And again, all this is going to be broken down a little bit more in detail as we go on. This is a self-paced course, and I'm giving you an overview. So again, guys, you're free to follow along, downloading the EasyGo Manager app, where you can actually watch these videos. They're automated, and they explain everything to you. So let's go over that again for everybody that, maybe brand new to the business, or you may been here a long time and you never understood how the trucking business works. Okay, so shippers, brokers, dispatchers, carriers. Okay, you have the freight that goes to the broker, and then the broker sends the currency to the carrier, and then the carrier is going to be dealing with a dispatcher if they choose to. Okay, so that is the flow of business typically that we're seeing. The second flow of business is when you're just simply getting paid directly from a warehouse, okay, or the shipper, and then it's your job to manage that whole experience by yourself. Okay, pay structure is very simple. As you can see here, the shipper is sending the currency to the broker, and the broker now is going to pay the trucking company. Trucking company is going to be dealing with the factoring company and the dispatching business. And behind the scenes, the factoring company will be collecting that money from the broker, because the factoring company's job is to release the funds directly to the trucking business up front while they wait, 60 to 90 days on their money. That's just a little extra. But again, I'm going to be helping you guys out, so don't worry if I'm going fast, okay? So the shipper, the pay structure number 2 is when the shipper is paying the carrier directly. And that is 2 modules that, I want to end with right there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video today. If you like content like this, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Now, I wanted to get that out before my camera cut off. So now I'm going to talk till my camera cuts off. So guys, hopefully, you gain a lot of information from what I'm showing you, and you see that the information is super legit, and it's, very, very helpful, because if I had something like this when I first got started and I understood what the trucking business truly was, I would have understood my options. I would have known, what a factoring company's job is. I literally went and signed a contract with a factoring company, not even really knowing what they do, not even really understanding what the contracts are, how long they last, how to choose a good factoring company, bad factoring company. I didn't know anything like that. I was very misinformed and very undereducated. So this is designed to help you to make a better business decision and to start off correct. So if you're getting a brand new CDL, you're not used to the trucking business at all, don't go out here and make any mistakes, because you don't have to. You have this information right in front of you. And again, I will send you these modules for free. You need to comment, hit me up in my email like, hey, Winston, I saw you say you'll send me the modules. I can do that. Or you can use the EasyGo Manager app, which I'd rather you use. It is paid. It's not free, but I'm building my app, and I do want you guys to use it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm building software, and it's going to help us all. Okay. I use my app. Okay. So, you saw what it was when I ran the ad, but basically, I'm encouraging you guys, for us all to help each other. In fact, on this app, I will be giving out money. That's the thing. If we have enough signups, we can all eat. We can all make money, because guess what? Every month I'm going to be choosing like a trucker, looking into situations. If y'all are having breakdowns, tire expenses, and I'm going to be like, okay, cool. Let me send $300 to this person, $400 to that person. That is my intention to do. Now, if we're not taking advantage of the software and we're not supporting our own communities, then, I don't really have the funds to help anybody, or whatever the case may be. I have signups now, but, the app is still, under construction. I haven't really promoted it like that. You can only see it like from my YouTube channel and stuff like that. But just know that if you're investing into this platform is investing right back into you. And that's as real as I can really keep it. And that is it, guys. I'm only probably going to be doing 2 modules per video, and we can get through this pretty quick. And I have a lot more courses to offer. This is going to be very, very fun, guys, because you're going to get a chance to see things that, my dispatching class here. I also have a trucking acquisition class that shows you how to buy a trucking business. I have a lot of cool things to show you guys. So just know that this is going to be very, very impactful. And that's it. That's all I got for you. Let's get it.